The combination of Icefall Mantle and Glaives are an underused combination for Titans, and when put together on the Stasis subclass, this turns you into the ultimate tank, able to withstand pretty much anything, allowing you to stab, freeze and shatter all enemies. Well, today I'm going to run through the build and check out the armor, the weapons and the mods, so you can put together this ultimate tank build in Destiny 2. Well, if you're new around here or find this useful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below for all the latest Destiny 2 content and turn on notifications by hitting that bell. Without further delay, let's dive right into the build. So first of all, we've got the Stasis setup. For my super, I'm using Glacial Quake for my class ability, it's a towering barricade. For my melee, it's a Shiver Strike, and then for my grenade is a Glacier Grenade. For my aspects, I'm using Tectonic Harvest, so shattering a Stasis Crystal creates a Stasis Shard, and the Shard grants melee energy when picked up by you or your allies. Also using Diamond Lance, so shatter or defeat targets with Stasis abilities to create a Stasis Lance, and throw that Lance to freeze targets on impact, and you can also slam that Lance into the ground to freeze targets in a small area. Next up, looking at the fragments, so Whisper of Fissures, increase the damage and size of the burst of stasis when you destroy a Stasis Crystal or defeat a frozen target. You've got Whisper of Shards, so shattering a crystal temporarily boosts your grenade recharge rate, and shattering additional crystals increases the duration of this benefit. You've got Whisper of Conduction, so nearby Stasis Shards track to your position, and Whisper of Chains, so while you're near frozen targets or a friendly Stasis Crystal, you take reduced damage from targets. Finally, we've got Whisper of Rhyme, so collecting a Stasis Shard grants a small amount of overshield which falls off after 10 seconds. Looking at the exotic armor, I'm using Icefall Mantle. These are exotic Titan gauntlets that come with the perk Glacial Guard. So a Glacial Guard replaces your barricade ability with a personal overshield. When you activate your barricade, you create a burst around you that slows combatants. And while you've got the overshield, you're slowed and the barricade does not recharge. We can get these from Lost Sectors when completing solo on Legend or Master difficulty, and make sure you do it as a Titan on Arms Day. Next up, looking at the weapons, so in the kinetic slot I'm using Perseus D. This one is a legendary kinetic scout rifle with a high impact frame, meaning it's slow firing and high damage. The weapon is more accurate when stationary and aiming down sights. And a good roll on this one is rapid hit and headstone, and headstone obviously goes really well with a stasis build. In the energy slot I'm using Nezarec's Whisper. It's a legendary energy adaptive glaive, which is a hybrid melee ranged polearm with a frontal shield, and it generates energy on dealing range damage. Nezarec's Whisper is a beast in PVE content, and a decent roll is Impulse Amplifier and Frenzy, or maybe Vorpal Weapon. And for this build, a glaive with Demolitionist, that would be absolutely perfect. In the power slot I'm using Chain of Command, so it's a useful machine gun that comes with a selection of perks. We've got Adrenaline Junkie and Demolitionist, Osmosis and Adaptive Munitions. I'm using Adrenaline Junkie and Demolitionist given the grenade focus of the build, and Demolitionist is really good because kills with the weapon generate grenade energy. Looking at the mods then, I'm using Well of Tenacity, and you want to use as many as you possibly can. So picking up a Void Elemental Well reduces your damage you take from combatants for a short period of time. I'm using Elemental Time Dilation, so Elemental Well mods that grant you time limited benefits can now stack, increasing the duration of the effect for each copy of the mod you have equipped. And that's why you want to use more than one of Well of Tenacity. Then I'm using Reaping Well Maker, so after activating your class ability, your next weapon final blow on a combatant spawns a Void Elemental Well. That's going to work really well with Well of Tenacity. Then I'm using Anti-Barrier Scout Overload Machine Gun, and finally bumping up that resilience to 100 for that 40% damage reduction. Well, next up, let's have a look at the gameplay. So this build is all about Icefall Mantle and Glaives. It's going to allow you to get overshields very often, making you extremely hard to kill in all types of content. So here is a simple rundown of the gameplay loop you are looking for. So first of all, throw a Glacier Grenade, and that is going to proc Whisper of Chains. Create an overshield from Icefall Mantle. Then you want to kill something with your glaive and pick up that elemental well. Well of Tenacity then kicks in for reduced damage, and then you want to kill enemies with your Demolitionist weapons to get that grenade back. Then simply rinse and repeat, kill everything that gets in your way, and you're going to be protected by that overshield. So this gameplay loop is going to ensure you have an overshield nearly 100% of the time, and the stasis benefits are going to come into play as well, so Whisper of Shards will help you recharge your grenades, meaning you can shatter more crystals. Whisper of Rhyme is going to give you that additional overshield, and Fissures is going to turn your crystals into explosive weapons. What you want to do is pay close attention to popping the overshield from Icefall Mantle and then go and kill something. So that is going to kick in Reaping Wellmaker, which is going to spawn that Void Elemental Well. When you pick up that well, you're going to take reduced damage from Well of Tenacity, and Elemental Time Dilation is going to be really good because it's going to make the effects last a lot longer. Regarding the weapons, the Glaive is the main focus of the attack. However, that's not going to get you very far if you want to go into Nightfalls this season. Therefore, I'm using Perseus D for anti-barrier champions and Chain of Command for my power weapon for my overload champions. Perseus D is really good because it's a stasis weapon, and if you get one with Headstone, that's another good way to create stasis crystals other than your grenade and your super. Chain of Command is good because you've got Demolitionist built in, and that helps with the grenade regeneration. Now, ideally, you want to mix and match with your kinetic and the power weapons to help you kill champions. Well, let me know in the comments what you think of the build, and let me know if you got any improvements. And that is it for this Ultimate Tank Titan Stasis PVE build with Icefall Mantle and Glaives in Destiny 2. And as always, thank you so much for watching or listening. For more Destiny 2 content like this, hit that subscribe button down below and subscribe to This Week in Video Games. Or you can check me out on Twitter at TWIVG Podcast. If you enjoyed this video, found it useful, liking and sharing the video would really help me out. Otherwise, check out the other videos on the channel. Well, thanks again, and I'll see you soon.
I do not wish to quell this victory, but we must not linger here. Ever since we dispelled the Endless Night, I feel an unease near the Vex domains.
Uh-oh. The Vex put a target on your back?
I'm afraid so. Splices are no longer welcome here.
Well, a hero's only as strong as his enemies. That makes you a certified superstar.